Let's talk about the priorities in Washington. Big news coming out today, but you won't hear about it at least on one of the biggest news networks. So the jobs numbers have come out. The Bureau of Labor Statistics with some, at least on the surface, very positive information when it comes to jobs in America. Employers added 288,000 jobs in April. This is the most since back in January of 2012. Furthermore, the jobless rate dropped to 6.3% from 6.7% just a month ago. And this is also the lowest level since the height of the financial crisis in 2008. Now, in addition to the data for last month, we also have some revisions, both of which are positive. February's revised figure jumped to 222,000 from 197,000. March also jumped by a little bit over 10,000 jobs. Both of those, very good news. Not all of the news is good, though. The job market participation rate did fall 0.4 percentage points to 62.8, and that is the lowest since the late 1970s. Now, we could go as deep into the numbers as we want. Those numbers look for the most part good, but people I trust entirely, like the statisticians at 538, are saying that there's a lot of negative information hidden in here. But as I said in the intro, you're not going to hear about these numbers too much because all of a sudden the big news of the day is Benghazi. The fact that Darrell Issa has subpoenaed John Kerry. Boehner is pushing for this massive investigation in the House, and that is all you're going to hear about, at least on Fox. They're trying to stop you from thinking about it. Boehner talked about the numbers a little bit, did not really give much credit for the good ones.
Yeah, I'm so tired of Benghazi. Jesus, now it's back. Okay, but you know what? I'm so tired of the Republicans. So let's do what we normally do and tell the truth about the unemployment numbers because they're important. Okay, so every time the unemployment numbers come out, and if they're good, what winds up happening is the Republicans say, "Oh, no, it could have been better, and Obama sucks, and if they'd only cut tax on the rich more, it would be even better," and all this just horse crap.
And then job creators. We need job creator. Barack Obama has been an unprecedented job creator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now,
or he has been president during a period
that's what
of
I'm saying.
unprecedented job creation at the very least.
Okay, he's hired some people.
No, and now on the other hand, the Obama administration, I think, overhypes the numbers because John is right that when you look beneath the surface, there's been a lot of issues with those numbers, and not that they're played with like the Republicans say and idiot Jack Welch says.
They're not issues with the numbers. They're issues with the job market. The job market is changing and shrinking. The unemployment numbers are getting better. If the job market were shrinking and the unemployment numbers were getting worse, that would be horrific.
Yeah, but it's also how these fucking Republicans have taken these job numbers for so long and then decided now it's time to go deeper and into them. And that's important, right? I mean, it is important to see that the quality of jobs, the time that you have, the fact that unemployment insurance being taken away from you forces you into retirement when it wouldn't have at other times.
Yes.
But this never happened before. You heard that the percentage of Americans who were unemployed was what it was. This is how many jobs were created. This is how many jobs were lost. And then you didn't go any deeper. As you said, I'm not going to go deeper into these numbers. Sometimes it's good to go deeper in these numbers. But the point of this as a political, bargaining chip is ridiculous. This is not how it was played.
Right. You compare apples to apples.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
And so, but the two important parts that are problematic is participation in this job market. A lot of people not even trying to get jobs anymore. And then wages, median wages are not going up. They're still going down, right? So those are really important for the middle class, and I don't think the Obama administration has done a very good job of that overall. Now, having said all of that, these particular numbers, for the first time, I looked at them and underlying numbers and thought, no, credit where credit is due. Mm-hmm. They've done a really good job with the unemployment number. I'm surprised that it's gone down to 6.3%. Could it be better? Of course, right? But if you would ask me to guess,
much better than 6.3%, I don't know.
Given the magnitude of what happened in 2008 and the complete blinders that everyone has essentially put on that, other than a line in each story and a line on the news of since the recession in 2008, since the crash in 2008, but nobody talks about and I don't know it. I'm not an economist, except I know now from reading enough that was a major shock. That's going to take 10 years to recover from.
Well, and also, the people analyzing these numbers, and especially on the right now, because they don't want to give credit to it, are trying to pretend as if they're going to analyze the numbers in the exact same way, as if businesses were functioning in the same way as they were before the recession, when they're not. They've seemed to shift it over to thinking we don't have to pay people enough money. We're going to have as many unpaid interns as possible. We're going to have part-time workers as much as possible. Like the nature of finding a job in America is not the same as it was 6 years ago or 7 years ago, but we're still pretending as if people should have the exact same shot at getting a job as they were before. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, and the jobless crisis highlights, unfortunately, one good side of it is that it highlights all of those flaws in the way our workforce is.
And by the way, if we had
comprised.
continued to do the things that the Republicans did wrong that led to the crash and the horrible unemployment numbers in the first place, this number would be substantially worse, not better. Remember that Obama got handed these numbers by Republicans because they did the wrong policies. So I really can't emphasize enough that for the first time as I look at these numbers, I think you really got to give them credit on bringing these unemployment numbers down. There's still a lot of work to do, and still the system is rigged against the middle class, and still the Obama administration has not done enough about that. But they have brought the jobless numbers down, and so don't believe the hype on either side. That is the reality, and as Michael's pointing out, these numbers are not lying. You can see them with your own eyes.
Don't believe the hype on two counts. One, the psychology of numbers matter. It's now, with February, March, and April, 200,000 jobs created in 3 straight months. But most people, as I was listening, most responsible economists listening to the news this morning, they're like, that's great. Let's see that for 6 months. Not for 3 months, but that is a good sign. And the other hype, don't believe, is that, yeah, these numbers are good. There are underlying problems with the economy. These numbers are good, so don't believe that. Don't I am pointing to something, right? That. By that, I mean, don't believe Michael.
Don't believe me.
No, because they see a number like this, which they know is instinctively going to look good for the president as we head into the midterms, and we're always heading into an election. So Benghazi is back.
Yeah. And remember the talking point that the Republicans always use, which is whenever there's good news for President Obama and he mentions it there, he's like, oh, trying to distract from the Obamacare website debacle, right? Trying to distract. Why? Because that's their number one go-to move. Distract, distract, distract. If you've got a good number like 6.3% unemployment, do Benghazi! Benghazi! Everybody look away from the good unemployment numbers. So that's what's happening. So don't buy into that bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, if the Republicans wanted to be sort of more intellectually honest, they could talk about the fact that wages have gone up about 1% on average from a year ago, which is absolutely horrendous. That's a bad number they could focus on, but I don't think fundamentally they care about the wages.
Care at all.
No, they don't care. I mean, listen, their standard bearer of their party in the last election wrote an editorial saying, let Detroit go bankrupt. These numbers and this job and these jobs gains, they started with the rescue, the bailout of the U.S. auto industry and all the jobs that come off of that. So they don't care at all.
They look at that 0.1 increase and they're like, it went up 0.1? Jesus, what are we giving money to these people?